All right, wonderful. I would like to welcome everyone today to today's session. It's Turbocharge Your Term Paper. This session will be recorded, and I will also share the PowerPoint slides for everyone at the end of the session. Also, at the end of the session, I will have a QR code for you to provide feedback and rate today's, encounter, today's session. And I hope that you all get a lot out of it. As I'm going through the session, feel comfortable. It's only, five of us here today. So if you want to ask any questions or provide any feedback or, any topics for discussion, feel free to, raise your hand or, type in the chat. And that'll be pretty much it. So my name is Mr. William. I work at the library. You can usually find me at the Habshan campus, Sane campus library, pretty much Monday through Thursday. Sometimes I will be at the main campus library on Fridays, and definitely maybe you can find me sometimes there on a Sunday. As the title says, today is about term papers. And we're going to go ahead and get started. And a lot of people, they tend to get nervous when their teacher or professor gives them a term paper. Hopefully you'll be a lot more comfortable after today's session when you receive that assignment that you may be scared of or whatever. It's just important to start early, and that will be one thing that will help relieve a lot of anxiety about doing your term paper. People get frustrated, they get scared when they're waiting to the last minute. And if you have any questions, it's always good to ask your professor, ask some of your students that are also in your class, your classmates, so that way you can kind of feel more comfortable right when you get started. And you're looking at the image of this lady here, and some of you probably have had the same expression. You're like, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? Haven't started this. I have to do so many different things, in terms of research and article review and everything. So if you start early, it's going to help out a lot. Waiting to the last minute is never a good thing. And the earlier you start, the less stressful the task will be. Planning effectively will definitely help you, be able to knock out the task bit by bit, as opposed to rushing and trying to do everything the night before it's due. So be sure to understand the assignment. If you don't understand what the assignment guidelines are, talk to your professor, and they will be more than happy to explain everything in detail for you and break it down. It's better to do that than to just be quiet, and then when it's time to turn in the assignment or you get a bad mark, you're trying to battle for your grade and say, oh, well, I didn't understand the assignment. I thought I had to do something different, or whatever the case is. So better to understand the assignment guidelines, so that way you know that you're absolutely clear on what you're responsible for. And the best thing to do is to create a task timeline, and put it on your calendar. Maybe if you know that the assignment is due 1 month from now, and you have four mini components to turn in, such as like an article review, getting your citations, and making a rough draft, all those things, you can schedule it out. So maybe you can do one task per week, or maybe one task every 3 days. So that way you're not frantic and you're not stressed. And it'll help everything go a lot smoother. And this way you can clarify any doubts with your instructor as you're going throughout, going along with the process. So this way you have time to go back with your professor and show them what you've done. And if you show your professor that you've taken some steps to work on the assignment, they will be very excited to help you, as opposed to you just talking to them and saying, I need help and I don't understand. And they're going to be like, well, what have you done? And if you can show them something that you've done, that you've actually taking some steps and working towards the assignment, they'll be a lot more inclined to help you out. And also you want to also have a what I call as a tech check. And when you're using a lot of the resources from the library, using your computer, using a lot of the tools, you want to make sure that you're able to log in properly, your email address and your KUID and everything is working properly. So that way you don't have any issues from a technical side when you're trying to access library resources, BB Learn, being able to upload your files, even being able to print all of that. You need to make sure that you've done that ahead of time to make sure you're going to be smooth and everything is going to work smoothly during the process of working on your term paper. um, so you're going to also want to choose a focused topic, and it'll help you develop a strong thesis statement. um, in the chat, can you all put, like, if anyone is working on a research paper or a topic that they have to discuss or do some work on, or just as an example, maybe that we can use later on throughout the session, you can just feel free to put that in the chat, throughout the today's session. Because what happens is that people are very broad with their research topic. They're not specific. Later on in the session, I'll show some examples of what it can be in terms of a session that's not specific versus one that can be very broad and help you narrow down your research topic. So when you're thinking about a thesis statement, when you are trying to develop a topic, it should never be like, in my opinion, I think, I believe. If you're a basketball fan, you can see the good example there, where you're comparing a good example versus a bad example. And that first example is saying LeBron James' ability to score, pass, and rebound make him the league's most valuable player. And it says the bad example is, does LeBron James' ability to score, pass, or rebound make him the league's most valuable player? You want to have a definitive statement when you're working on your thesis. You don't want it to be something that you're questioning. You want to have a statement where the evidence that you show is going to prove your statement to be correct and accurate. So have a good focused topics that allows for in-depth analysis, and the analysis can come in many different ways. It can be quantitative analysis, it can be qualitative analysis. You can do surveys, you can do a lot of, use a lot of different data gathering tools as well as research tools to be able to get your analysis. Also, you want to make sure that you choose a topic that's within the scope of your assignment. Again, your professor should, give you some guidance with this and help you choose your research topic. Also, you want to have, again, a concise thesis statement that outlines the main argument of your paper. So, what are you trying to prove? What are you trying to show based upon the evidence and research that you've done? Are you trying to prove something is true? Are you trying to disprove something? So make sure that your argument is going to be concise. And the most important thing is to be as specific as possible. This way, you know that when you are doing your research, you're not all over the place. You're focusing on what you need to get done. And basically, you're staying in alignment with, your topic. All right. And one of the things that can be very helpful is creating an outline. This is something that when I was in school, that my father, he made sure he constantly told me, son, you need to make an outline for your paper. Or if I needed help for any of my homework assignments, he would say, show me your outline. What do you have done first? So even by creating an outline, this is something that you can share with your professor as a way to get feedback from them. And if you don't know what an outline is, basically it's just a way for you to get your thoughts together in an organized way. And here's an example of traditional outline format. Some of you may be familiar with this type of structure, but basically, you're going to have an introduction, you have a body, and within that body, you're going to have multiple main points. Some of those main points are going to have subcategories, and some of them won't. But it's a way for you to think about how you want to structure the format of your paper by having this outline format. Some of the resources I'll share later in today's session will have examples of outlines that you can use when you're working on your research paper. So when you organize your thoughts into a structured outline, it's a good way to see the flow of your paper. And you want to make sure that that flow is logical and that it makes sense. So this way you can move things around. You may want to start talking about one point ahead of another. So this way you can shift and say, well, I'm, conducting an experiment, and within the experiment, I have a sample size of 500 people, and they're from different demographics, blah, blah, blah. But then, you want to make sure that you don't talk about the results of your experiment before you talk about how you collected your data or your sample size. So again, this is a way to ensure that you have a logical flow within the context of your document. Make sure that your paper has a proper introduction. And if you look at any type of journal article, they'll always have a great introduction. So that way you can kind of take an example of a journal article, and we'll take a look at a couple today as kind of like a way for you to model the structure of your term paper. Also, you can consider visual ways to represent data or analysis. Many, journal articles have charts, they have graphs, they have, varieties of different ways, images, pictures, to represent research or data analysis. So you don't have to just have only words in your paper. Spice it up a little bit. Throw some images in there to make it look more interesting and interactive. Also, you want to make sure that you conduct thorough research and use authentic resources. And when I mean authentic resources, you know, I'm not just talking about going on Chat GPT and copying and pasting resources that you see there. Sadly, a lot of the citations that are in Chat GPT, most of the citations are not authentic. So you want to make sure that you can have resources that you're able to properly cite, just in case your professor wants to go back and double check your sources. And one way to ensure this is by using the library. So by using the library, here at KU, you have the access to so many different types of resources. Some of the resources are print resources, some of them are online. You're able to, use them, and, always know that the library is your friend. Many people are scared to come to the library. It may be somewhat intimidating to them, but, always know that whether you're at the main campus, you're at the same campus, you can always come, and we're always happy to help. Many times people, they're like, oh, I'm sorry to disturb you, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, this is my job. I'm here to help you. So never feel like you're going to bother us or anything like that. Also, you want to try to use a variety of different sources, such as academic journals, books, and articles. Try not to limit all of your data gathering or information gathering from one journal or one type of resource. Mix it up, have a diversified list of resources, and you'll be able to have different perspectives that you could use to support your research paper. And one of the things that you could do is you could take notes, mark up on the documents as needed. A lot of the resources that we have, you can print them out, or if they're e-resources like PDFs, if you have an iPad or something like that, you can write notes so that way you're able to see certain points that you want to use. certain things that you want to cite. You're not going to, use the entire article for your paper because you're just using it to get certain points and certain information that you want to combine to support your topic. And this way you can keep track of your citations. So when you mark up something, keep track of your citations. We have a lot of different reference tools. I'll show you a couple. And we also have RefWorks, which is amazing. It integrates with Microsoft Word. And we have a dedicated session that the library has specifically about RefWorks, where if you want to get an in-depth training on that particular product, you'll be able to do so. So speaking of the library, what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick tour of the library webpage. So we're going to go ahead and jump in here really quick so that way you all can see. All right, so here is the library webpage. I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the chat for everyone so that way you can follow along if you want to. And that's direct links to the webpage. If you don't save this from the KU homepage, I can show you basically what you will do is from the regular KU homepage, you can go to academics and hover over here and then go to library. So those are two ways to get there. And you can also get there from the portal from the student side, but I have the staff portal. So my interface is a little different. And you see that we have a lot of different types of resources. So we have articles, ebooks, print books, Casna, which is our repository for publications. We also have medical resources and DOI, which is a URL that is used to have documents that are always going to be available online. And if you want to also learn a little bit more about the library, again, this is another interface. The library homepage is here. And one of the first things that you want to do is that you want to make sure that you sign in to the library. And once you are signed into the library webpage, you'll be able to save a lot of your citations. You'll do this by clicking on library account. And you'll see this interface here where it says log in using your student or staff ID. So this is essentially walking in the door of the digital library. Once you logged in, you'll be able to see your name here and you're able to know that you're logged in because your name is going to show here in the right-hand corner. If anyone has any issues being able to log into the library webpage, feel free to stop by the reference desk and we'll be happy to assist you. And then if you need to go to IT, we'll tell you that, but always visit us first so that way we can try to get you set up as quickly as possible. So while you're here in the library webpage, you're able to search from, have our search interface similar to a Google page, and you're able to see pretty much what we offer. Does anyone have a particular topic or anything they want me to search for as an example?
I do.
Okay. Do you want to go ahead and type it and put it in the chat for me, Amira?
Yeah, sure. It's not typing, sorry, but can we search about telemedicine? And digital applications and AI in healthcare.
Digital applications and AI in healthcare.
Yes.
No problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you two different ways to search. One way that is the traditional library way, and the other way is something that you may be more familiar. So I'm going to do digital, oops, and AI in healthcare. All right. So thinking about this interface, AI is a popular term, but maybe you could use artificial intelligence as well, because noticing that the results that we have here, they have AI. You don't see artificial intelligence in the results, even though we know AI is there. But I want to show you something where if you take a look at these results where it says 4,732. So we have AI there, but imagine if I do a and geez, what is going on with me today? So it gave us a little less results. It narrowed it down a little bit, and it gave us more kind of specific. Even if you're taking a look at this book, it has AI smart enabled healthcare using biomedical signals, um, AI in the healthcare sector. So by adding artificial intelligence, it helped us kind of narrow down the search results just a little bit. So you can see that you're getting a lot more kind of like a detailed search when you're adding artificial intelligence as opposed to just keeping AI. So when I remove artificial intelligence, it's going to have a lot more results that are going to be here, but some of them may be specific, may not be specific. So it's up to you. So just kind of notice that when you are more specific, it's going to narrow down your results, because you see it was 4,732, then it brought it down to a lot less. Um, so you can see when we're looking at the resources that we have, you have resource type on here on the side, articles, books, magazine articles, so many different options. Amir, did your professor tell you to only use peer-reviewed articles, or did they kind of leave it open for you to use whatever resource you chose or you wanted to use?
No, no, it's okay to use any valid resources.
Okay, very good. So everything that you know that you see here is pretty much going to be valid. Obviously, we have it here in the library, and are going to be different types of resources. So let's see if there's anything that would be good. Article, digital ecosystem, because you wanted digital applications. So I'm trying to see if there's anything that would be helpful with the applications. Accountability, blockchain. What about this one? This is a conference proceeding. Um, what I'll do is I'll actually share this link also, so that way you can have it.
Thank you.
No problem. And let's go with maybe this one, advanced health informatics. So this is a actual book, and if you want to go and do a deep dive into chapters, you can see here convergence between Internet of Things for smart health and predictive medicine. Okay, so I think this one would be right up your chapter. So this is talking about converging Internet of Things for predictive medicine. This would looks like it'd be great. So we can say if you want to get the PDF, you want to read it online, I'm going to click on read it online, and you can see here the abstract of the title. Sometimes where it's going to ask you to log in via the institution to actually get the full article. And then also sometimes I think ebook central, they may have it available as well. So this way I think ebook central is a better option so that it's less to do. So that was the chapter here, Internet of Things, and then read online or download the PDF. I would always suggest reading it online because when you download the PDF, you're kind of limited into the certain number of pages that you can get. So here you go. So you have this chapter from this particular um, here, and you can kind of go through it and see exploring and IoT technologies for smart healthcare. Mobile health data can be employed to monitor various health conditions, wearable devices, blah, blah, blah. iHeart, so that looks like they're using different examples, exploring AI techniques for smart healthcare. So I think this would be something that would be possibly helpful for you. What do you think?
Yes, it would. It has many, many options and a lot of perspective about it. So thank you.
No problem, no problem. So yeah, so this is I think would be something to get you started. And when you can see where it says download PDF chapter. So it says get up to 70 pages. So once you cap that 70 pages and you can see that you're logged in as it says Khalifa University, you won't be able to download anymore. So my suggestion is just to always choose the read online option unless there's certain pages that you want to print out or share them with other people or something like that. But you can always share the link to the book. And that way, when you are sharing the link, it will, take whoever accesses it directly to that particular publication. So go ahead and try to click on it from your side and see if it takes you directly there. And when you click on a link, this should open up. And it may ask you to do the
It
sign
does,
in.
but I need to sign in first.
Yeah, exactly. So once you sign in, then you'll be able to get this as an option. So, like I mentioned before, once you sign into the library webpage here at the beginning, and you see your name pop up, then you'll be able to kind of get it. If there's any issues that you have with signing in, again, you can message me, stop by the library, or whatever, and we'll help you get started. All right. So going back to your keywords here, digital applications and AI in healthcare, this is the traditional library search interface. I know most of you all use ChatGPT, so there's no secret about that. What we have now currently is we have like a beta research assistant that has a ChatGPT interface where you can use natural language. So I'm going to see how the results differ and show you how it works. So we're going to go and jump into research assistant. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the question more into of a natural language format. So again, I clicked on research assistant. You see it showing here, Khalifa University. And I will say, what would you say, would you want to say, Amira, what types of digital applications or how can digital applications or how can AI help the development of digital applications in healthcare?
To what extent can digital application and AI help healthcare professionals?
All right. To what extent can digital applications and AI help healthcare professionals? Now, before I do this, this is a very broad topic because immediately I'm thinking nurses, I'm thinking doctors, I'm thinking surgeons. So we'll go with this and maybe
Okay, how
we'll drill
about
down.
we narrow it down?
But let's go with this first, and
All
then
right.
we'll narrow it down and see. So we'll see what pops up. So when you're noticing, it's pulling it here and it's giving us five top sources. And keep in mind that this is kind of like a beta version. So it's only giving five right now. Hopefully later on, it will be able to give us a lot more. But the good thing about it is that these articles, or as you use, like, as you said, valid or relevant resources, these are things that 100% are going to be citable. When you're using the chat GPT, some of the information may not be correct. I know with chat GPT 5 or whatever, they've gotten a lot of access to open source publications. But right now, for sure, you can see that it's giving you a little summary. And then it's also, again, like ChatGPT giving you some, other questions. So let's take a look and see what happens when we click on these particular books and articles. So precision healthcare, and you see here, it's giving you the abstract for, excuse me, this particular source. If we go article, it's taking us to the option to go and view the text online. So I'm going to click on that one. And again, it's giving us the references and the citation for this one as well. Oops, sorry. Let me close this and close this. Okay. Here, an article. And you can see here now we have with this one, this is taking us to one of our resources, and this is going to be ProQuest. So here you have the PDF of this article for you to download, and we'll kind of hang out here again and take a look at this one. So you also have examples of healthcare companies in the figure. This paper is organized into several sections serving a specific purpose, topic at hand, blah, 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 key applications of AI in healthcare. That's right there, number 3. Wow, this is amazing. This looks really cool. So they're even giving you like algorithm maps. And I mean, this is a really good article. It looks like a neural network. Yeah, layout. So yeah. So that's just one example of the platform that we have with 4KU that has kind of like a similar chat GPT interface, except what it does, as opposed to it going out to the internet, it's pointing to resources that we have currently in our collection. And if there's a resource that we don't have, you can always request it and we'll always get it for you. So this one is saying full text of AI in clinical medicine, a practical guide for healthcare professionals. And then going here back to eBook Central. Again, it's going to point us back to this book. You can download the chapters, blah, 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 as we did before. So that's to get started. Did you want to is this showing you kind of what you need, or did you want to narrow it down even further?
Actually, that is fantastic. I did not know about this.
Really?
I did not. I did not. I didn't think that on the library we have such resources and we can search for these papers. And it
Okay.
is valid as long as it's on the library. So it's 100% valid.
Exactly. Exactly. And
All right,
to be
thank you.
yeah, yeah. So and to be real, like, mostly, the students, everyone, they're gonna go to ChatGPT. So by having this, it's kind of like a more familiar interface that people are comfortable with, and they're able to prompt it effectively because they know, pretty much what to do with ChatGPT. One of the options that we do have here is that you can also kind of narrow it down a little bit more by journal articles, peer reviewed, and books. And also you can set up a date timeline as well, or a date limitation as well, and then and find resources that are only available online. So it gives you just a little more ways to filter when you are kind of using this interface.
It's like more sophisticated, evidence-based ChatGPT,
There we go. There we go.
which is
Evidence based.
amazing. Thank you.
No problem. No problem. And so, yeah, so again, what I'm probably going to do is next year, I'm going to do a session as we have more resources and fine tune this to have a dedicated session only on this one. So, but, just wanted to show you that this is something that is available as a tool that is just a little different than the traditional interface that we have here. I mean, looking at that to looking at the other one, it's night and day in terms of how it looks. So just keep that in mind. All right. So I'm going to switch back over to the presentation. I will paste the link, or again, I don't really have to paste the link, but just know, just when you come to our regular library page, just click on Research Assistant to get started there. Okay. So let me jump back into the PowerPoint. All right. Pretty soon. So you guys see the PowerPoint on your screen there. So the slide should say citation tools and tips. So we just did a quick little, walkthrough of the KU Library website. RefWorks is a tool that we have a dedicated session on to help you gather your citations. Really quick. Um, let's see here, just to share the screen. Within the library webpage, when you are doing searches, there's a couple of things that you could do in terms of two ways to gather your citations. You can use RefWorks, which is amazing. You can see that they also offer BibTeX, EasyBib, EndNote, RefWorks as well. To just basically, it's a one-click thing. Once you have it set up, you'll be able to basically stack all your references, and you could go back and review them and click on them as you need them. Just a simple way to also do it is just click on citation here. And this way you can just copy and paste, and you see that there's different formats, MLA, APA, or whatever, and then you just copy them and dump them in Word. You can also email them as well, so that way you can make a curated list of all of the research that you're doing as you're going along. So for your, your article review, um, you can basically copy and paste all of these and then just dump them onto one Word document, so that way you can find them later on. So that's just one other thing that's kind of a handy way just to simply get your citations and have them saved in one place. So top, send to, view online, and details, you can do that as well. And then also, where you see here where it says add this item, you can put a pin in the item, and what it will do is it will save it under your user profile. So AI in clinical medicine is here. And let's go for another one. So there are a lot of ways to Spanish residency, artificial intelligence, blah, 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 article. So say I want to grab this one, holistic precision wellness, no data flow in clinical laboratories. Okay, this one looks all right, blah, blah, blah. So it's a way to quickly go through principal oxidants and empathetic AI. This one's good. All right. So now that you see they have these, like they're always pinned, go to my favorites, kind of like your web browser, and you can see that they're all been saved here when I want to come back a little later. And then you can even your saved searches are here, search history, AI, and clinical medicine. So the library webpage has a variety of different tools that will definitely help you within your research. And again, people don't really realize that everything that this page offers, but it can be very, very helpful. All right, so let me go back to the presentation. So yeah, so and again, creating your personal account, as I showed you with the library webpage, and also the database vendors, they have ways to use their own like interface to save documents and everything like that you're doing research. Again, Microsoft Word has tons of citation tools as well. In the ProQuest session, it's touched on a little bit how how RefWorks and Microsoft Word are integrated. So going back to the actual paper, you want to make sure that it's clear, easy to understand. And as I, come up with these little sayings, get it right when you write. And sometimes people can be very confusing, and it sounds like they're rambling. I know that there are times when I can get an email from someone and the email is super, super, super long, and I can tell that they've just copied this from ChatGPT. And your professors can, look at that, and people that read it, it can um, be very confusing if it's not clear. So avoid overly complex sentences by being clear and concise. You want to make sure that when you're conveying your information is straight to the point. You're not rambling. You're not putting a lot of long words in the document just to make the paper seem longer or complex. Just be straight to the point with your statements. Summarize your points with evidence and examples and citations. When we were looking at that article that had the neural network diagram and everything, that one looks like it was very, very clear. It was to the point, and it showed examples by using those diagrams. Also, again, demonstrate your critical thinking through evaluating your sources. So, like I did when I opened up the library webpage, I did my search and I pinned certain resources. I said, okay, I think this is going to be good. This looks good, blah, blah, blah. Then I could get those, set them to the side, and then take the time to actually look at them one by one and see what points I want to take from one resource versus another one. And again, as you also saw, that article was really cool. It showed their analysis using charts, graphs, and everything. And you could do that yourself. If you are making a poll, for example, you could use Google Forms or you could use Microsoft Forms to, make a survey to get, feedback or, to do research or to, create a poll for your experiments or whatever the case is. And be sure that your evidence, excuse me, always relates to your thesis statement. Make sure that everything that you use, it always points back to the point that you're trying to prove. Uh, so if you're in a rush, to get your assignment done. This is something that people usually forget to edit and revise. It's something that you have to do, even though it's probably one of the most annoying parts about, working on a term paper. So, spell checking, having your friends take a look at it, maybe even having your professor or your professors, if they have a teaching assistant, have a look at it before you turn it in, can be something that provides a lot of value. Basically checking for, grammar, spelling, and punctuation errors. If you don't use ChatGPT for anything else, definitely use this. But start off with your own words and then dump it in there to correct spelling and maybe enhance the grammatical clarity of it. I would definitely say that's a good way to use AI, to make sure that at least the spelling, punctuation, and grammar are up to standard. And again, you could make a prompt. You could say, I'm writing a peer-reviewed article, or act as a scientific, or I should say, sorry, probably say, act as a Python programmer. Please review this article, blah blah blah, and please, correct it. And there's different layers of prompts that you could put in to make sure that the content is more, in the particular language for the document that you want to produce. Double check your sources. Make sure that you have the proper citation. Depending on your professor, they may want APA, they want MLA, whatever the case is. Make sure that that's what your professor wants. And you want to always avoid plagiarism. You're going to do this by making sure that you have accurate sources. So make sure you have the formatting guidelines from your instructor. How many words should the document be? Should it be double spaced? Maybe your professor wants you to use a particular font. Some professors want Arial, some want Times New Roman, some want, Calibri. So make sure you have those guidelines. And usually in the assignment details, that's spelled out, but just always make sure that you follow that and confirm. And again, like I said, proofread and consider getting feedback from peers or professors. When I say peers, one of the good things that a lot of students don't do, and this is something that I learned when I was in college. KU, we always have a lot of peer mentoring that we have here. Try to find someone that is maybe one level above you in your program, that has taken that course before, or maybe has even had the same professor. And if you can do that, then you can, share your documents and share your assignments with them to get their opinion. And a lot of the times, your professors are cool. You could say, "Hey, Doctor, so and so. When you taught this class before, was there a really good student that I can reach out to help get, a help with, assignments going forward?" And, that professor may say, "Yeah, I had, Latifa, blah, 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 and she was really good. And she was one of the best students that I had last semester or last year." And you said, "Well, do you have her, contact information? She hasn't graduated or whatever like that." And then that way you can kind of develop, a strategy that's different than everyone else. So that way, how that professor works, because you have kind of like an inside scoop on what they're going to look for when they're grading your assignments. So pretty much we're almost done. It's 12:54, and I showed you, an example of how to do a search on the, KU Library webpage. I also showed you our beta, research tool that we also have on the library webpage. And what I want to do now is encourage everyone to read more and explore. Within this presentation, I got some of the points from various resources that we have. So if you scan the QR code with your phone, or you can click on these links when I share it, it will take you to some of the resources that we currently have within the KU library. So I'll just go ahead and click on one as an example. And I know, Amira, since you're a graduate student, some of these may be not necessarily applicable to you. I think this one is for like doctoral dissertations, and maybe the secrets to writing great papers. So let me click on this one. And let's go ahead and do share. So here we go. Secrets to writing great papers. Let me open the chapters of this book. Tables and checklists, deciding on the size, tackle the topic, chart your course, adopt an approach. Let's take a look at hmm, tables and checklists and see what we have here. So secrets to writing great papers. And here we go. So, and look, this one is even with a research assistant. It's since I used it before, I guess it's prompting to give a summary of this now. So the AI follows you everywhere you want to go or everywhere you don't want to go sometimes. So it looks like a teacher's list of assigned topics. You can also create a general topic merely by adding another noun to it. So this looks like it's giving you ways to develop keywords for research topics. Um, it gives you some sample problems, talks about getting different resources. This book is kind of old, I can see, but choose an approach and because you don't know where to start. So it talks about search, examples and everything there. Let's take a look at another example. Writing your doctoral dissertation. And for your study, doctoral students, suggested readings of doctoral dissertation. I would say, let's go here. Getting a sense of the terrain. It's loading a little slowly. Here we go. So writing a term paper entails not only writing per se, but necessitates extensive reading and learning. You'll learn how more about your discipline, learn how to organize large chunks of information. You will learn how to do original research. So it looks like this one may be a pretty good resource for you to use. And again, with ebook central, you can, read it online or look at it as a PDF. It looks like it's giving some pretty good examples. This is one as an example of a title page. So this one would be really, really good to kind of get a great way to create your term paper. And it's giving you a lot of different tips. So pretty much in a nutshell, this presentation I'll share with you so you can click on these resources and hopefully get some other ideas that you can use to help you along your journey. So I do want to say thank you for everyone that has joined today's session. I will share the QR code for the feedback really quick. Hold on one second. I know Amir was the only person talking, but I hope everyone else got something from today's session.
It was a very informative session. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you so much. So in the chat, I'm going to put this QR code for you And basically, um, on with this QR code, you can, discuss today's session. If you have any ideas of future sessions that you want myself or anyone from the library team to host, going into the next academic year, feel free to provide that feedback. And if any, if there are any questions, feel free to ask. If not, then that's pretty much it for today.
Sure. Thank you so much.
No problem, no problem. Thank you all for joining, and I will provide a copy of the PowerPoint for your reference later on during the day.
All right. Have a great
Okay,
day.
okay, you too. Okay, take care, everyone. Okay, bye bye.